Are you tired of trying to figure out which ingredients are safe and which products are truly safer? The Slightly Greener membership is here to help you eliminate any guesswork. With an easy step-by-step process and a supportive community, you'll learn how to transition into a low-toxic lifestyle with just a few small changes at a time. This membership will provide you with the knowledge, tools, and support you need to keep your home looking and feeling healthy without turning your lifestyle upside down. You'll learn which ingredients to avoid and which brands are truly safer so that your search for safe products becomes easy and automatic. Imagine being able to make simple swaps that significantly reduce toxins in your home without sacrificing convenience or comfort. No more hours of researching trying to find safe products and no more guessing. I'll take the guesswork and hours of research off your plate, leaving you with more time to enjoy living a low-toxin lifestyle. Join the membership today and be free of worrying if your products may contain hidden toxic chemicals or worse, greenwashed formulas that are marketed as all natural or eco-friendly that turn out to be anything but. So empower yourself with this knowledge so that you can keep your family safe while saving money, time, and your sanity. Find out more at slightlygreener.com/membership. Welcome to the Slightly Greener Life podcast. This is your host, Tanya Harris. I am an award-winning environmental toxin expert, best-selling author, and mother of three. I created this podcast as a place to help busy moms ditch the overwhelm and start living a low-toxin life. Now, let's get into this week's episode. Welcome back to the Slightly Greener Life. I am your host, Tanya Harris, and today we're going to be talking about all things refrigerator because did you know that there is a National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day? I didn't until I really started doing some research on this, and it was actually created by Whirlpool Home Appliances back in 1999 to encourage people to clean out their refrigerator before the upcoming holidays. And while the national holiday is celebrated on November 15th, any time is really a good time to clean out your fridge. Not only will it help get rid of those pesky leftovers, but it also helps with optimal, safer food storage. Plus, have you ever really wondered how long you can keep those leftovers for? So a couple years ago, I did a TV interview on WFLA in Tampa on Bloom TV and showed my refrigerator after I had cleaned and organized it for National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. So talk about pressure, because if you've ever cleaned your refrigerator out for the holidays when you have guests coming over, imagine cleaning it for a TV show. I mean, I scrubbed that thing and it was shiny brand new. So I'll go ahead and I'll post that along with these tips I have on my website at slightlygreener.com/episode 26. And does it still look like it did on the video? Oh, heck no, not even close. We're a family of 5, so it's an ongoing challenge to keep it clean and organized. And I think the fridge looked like that video for maybe 2 days tops. And fun fact, while you're watching that video, I had double pneumonia and I didn't know it. And I went down for the count like 2 days later. So if you watch that video, I'm a little breathy and not feeling so great, but still did the interview and just thought I'd throw that in there because I think it's a fun fact. But anyway, with the holidays coming up, I'm getting ready to do a fridge clean out. And I thought I'd share some of my favorite tips. Because not only does it look great to have a clean fridge, but it feels great for some reason. Just opening the doors and seeing that beautiful clean fridge is such an awesome feeling. But it's also much easier to clean when you have a somewhat regular clean out schedule. And I've noticed it can save money by being able to quickly and easily see everything that you have in your fridge. And it decreases the chances of buying something you already have because you didn't see it buried deep in the back of the fridge. Or even worse sometimes, having something go bad before you can even use it. So while cleaning out the fridge is usually a tedious task that none of us enjoy, there's actually just some simple ways that you can make your fridge cleaning easy. So you don't need to write all these tips down. I'll have them available on my website at slightlygreener.com/episode 26. But the first thing you'll want to do is have an empty countertop. So I like to clean off all my counters so I can tell exactly what's from the fridge and I don't mix things up and make a mess. So you're going to want to have an empty counter space to put the items, or you can even put them in a small cooler if you think it's going to take a while. And this is where you're going to hold the items while you clean. And I like to do one shelf at a time to make it more doable. Plus, if you have anything or any if you stop in the middle of cleaning for some reason, you won't have as much to put away quickly. So what you'll do is use the countertop to sort the items into 3 groups. The first group will be items that you use every day or almost daily, items you use less frequently, and then expired items. And these are the ones that you'll just toss right away. And while you're going through, it's also a good time to write down what you see in there that's expired or low that you need to replenish or replace. So when you are ready to buy new ones, then you can replace it with a safer brand of the products that you use the most. And if you need help with this, you can grab my book, The Slightly Greener Method, because I have tons of resources in there of safer brands to buy. And if you want to save money on those organic or safer products, I talked about how to save money on these things in episode 2. So you can go back and listen to that to find out how to save money on some of those products. Then it's time to tackle those shelves. So I recommend starting on the top shelf, since when you're wiping away crumbs and debris, it can make their way to the lower shelves, which is super frustrating if you've already cleaned them. You'll want to vacuum up or wipe up any crumbs or debris that you see, and you can wash the shelves with a soft sponge or a washcloth dipped in warm soapy water. Just make sure it's not hot if the shelves are still in the fridge, because hot water on a cold shelf can crack it. So you can either remove the shelf and clean it with warmer water, hotter water, or you can leave it in the fridge and just do warm water. And I like to use a liquid Castile soap. One of my favorite brands is Vermont soap. It's really good at degreasing and getting gunk off of shelves, especially if you leave it there for a minute. And then go on to clean out the drawers, empty the drawers completely, and vacuum out any crumbs, and then remove them to clean out and underneath. But if you do have some stuck-on messes, I do like to make a paste sometimes. It makes it really easy to clean. So what you can do is you can either spray the area with a Castile soap-based cleaner. So another product I like from Vermont Soap is their Liquid Sunshine Spray. Either that or I use their Castile soap. And another thing that you can do is to make like a paste. And you can apply this to whatever the debris is and let it sit for a minute and then scrub it away gently. So what you can do, and I'll put this on my website too, is just 2 tablespoons of baking soda and 1 tablespoon of water, and just stir them together in a small bowl to make a paste. And then you just spread that over the grimy areas, and you can let that sit, or you can wipe it up right away. But the best thing to do is lightly spray vinegar over that paste, and it'll fizz and bubble, and it will help lift the stain. And then you just gently scrub it with a soft sponge so you don't scratch the surface. And then for stubborn areas, you can let that paste dry, let it dry completely, and then spray it with vinegar before scrubbing it away. So after you're done with all of that, it's time to put the fridge back together. And so now you should have the items sorted. You should have what you use daily. You should have what you use less frequently. And then by now you should have tossed the expired or unwanted items. I don't know if you can donate refrigerated stuff, so I guess toss it. Now it's time to organize it and put it back in. There are a lot of great Pinteresty ideas out there for organizing your fridge, but I'm not one for buying all the plastic containers to organize it. But if you are, definitely go for it. I always feel like they look beautiful when they're fully stocked, but once the items start to dwindle, the unbalanced look drives me a little crazy. So maybe that's just me. And that's just my opinion. I am definitely not against a couple here and there to help organize sauces or whatever you need it for. Do what you're comfortable with. And if you do happen to do a full-on Pinteresty fridge, that's awesome. And I will be secretly jealous. It's just not something I've been able to do. But okay, so going back to putting everything back in. To start with, you're going to want to put the items that you use less frequently towards the back of the fridge. You should be able to see them better now too, now that you have more room. And then items that you use daily or more often should be placed more towards the front of the fridge. And when it comes to putting the food back into, believe it or not, there is a correct way to fill a fridge. The first thing you want to do is when you have raw meats, they should be stored in containers or sealed plastic bags to avoid cross-contamination and possible leakage. So you want to place them on the bottom shelf to avoid any contamination by any drippings that might happen. And then you want to store items like meat, milk, and eggs in the actual compartment of the refrigerator instead of in the doors. And the reason for this is because the main compartment is the coldest area of the fridge and the doors are the warmest. So the doors should really only be used for things like condiments and dressings, things like that. Even if it has that cool egg holder, it might be better to just store them in the fridge itself so they stay cooler. And another important tip, and I know this from experience too, is to not overfill the fridge. I know sometimes it's so tempting especially when we're hosting or having company over, to just fill that fridge. But air needs to circulate in order for the refrigerator to cool efficiently. So especially make sure you're not trying to shove everything against the back of the fridge. That's usually where the cooling element is. This really overworks your fridge and it can lead to it not getting cool enough, not to mention causing more problems and more wear and tear and shortening the life cycle of your refrigerator, which is something none of us want. As you're looking through everything, deciding what to keep and what to toss, there's actually some really good tips here from the USDA about how long you can keep meat and certain items. So meats like beef, veal, pork roast, steaks, and chops can be kept 3 to 5 days in the fridge before cooking or freezing. And then when it comes to fresh chicken, ground meat, and ground poultry and turkey, the USDA recommends refrigerating and using them within 1 to 2 days before either cooking or freezing those. And then after cooking, the meats, poultry, and seafood can safely be stored for 3 to 4 days. And when it comes to eggs, use those within 3 to 5 weeks after purchase. But according to the FDA, eggs can still be used within that time frame, even if the sell-by date has passed, as long as you purchase them by that date. And if you're wondering how long leftovers can be stored, to avoid food poisoning, the Mayo Clinic recommends refrigerating leftovers within 2 hours and eating them within 3 to 4 days. So you can also check out a great resource for what food labels mean, like best by and sell by date, and how long to store food for. It's called the Food Facts Guide from the FDA, and you can download it on the FoodKeeper app for Apple and Android. Again, all this will be on my website. So how often should you clean out your fridge? Your refrigerator should be cleaned out with a deeper clean like this every 3 to 4 months. And I always like to do it again, like with the seasons. I like to think of when the seasons change, I have to do a deep clean on certain things. The refrigerator is one of them. But if you keep up on the safer food storage and cleaning things out on a regular basis, weekly, and leftovers too, you'll really cut down on the amount of time it takes to do these deeper cleans. And then to keep up on all the hard work you just did, what I like to do, and this has really helped me, is to set a timer reminder each week on your phone, the day or the night before your garbage gets picked up. And this helps you remember to clean out any leftovers that weren't eating or to look for any expired produce, anything like that expires quickly that you can get rid of that starts getting really gross in the fridge real fast. This makes it so much easier to do those deeper cleans every couple months. And it also helps so you can see what gets shoved into the back of the fridge so you don't have to buy new stuff, not realizing there was already that bottle of ranch or ketchup that was barely used but now almost expired at the back of the fridge. And I am definitely speaking from experience here. And that's actually really it for a healthy fridge clean out. And I hope all those tips help, especially with the holidays coming up. I know I've made the mistake before of not doing a good clean out like this before I've hosted, and it was so hard to save leftovers and things were spilling because they were tipping over. It just really wasn't pretty, and it made a bigger mess for me in the end. Not fun when you already have a big enough kitchen mess after hosting. Don't forget, if you want to see these tips, plus a video of my ridiculously cleaned out fridge for that interview, go to slightlygreener.com/episode 26. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Looking to create a healthier home, but feeling overwhelmed by the thought of making big changes? Learn how my book, The Slightly Greener Method, Detoxifying Your Home, is easier, faster, and less expensive than you think, can offer the perfect roadmap to help you create that healthy and safe home. With this step-by-step guide, I'll show you how to focus on micro habits and gradual safer product swaps to reduce the toxins in your home. My book will provide an easy, actionable plan so that you can finally enjoy the healthy haven your home was meant to be without being overwhelmed or breaking the bank. Discover which toxins to avoid depending on your own family's unique needs, what labels mean, and 4 simple steps for a quick jumpstart towards a less toxic home right away, plus additional resources like safer brands and websites and apps to specialize in safer shopping options, and a dedicated book website with downloadable cheat sheets and guides to take with you on the go. Pick up my book, The Slightly Greener Method, today, available wherever books are sold. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Slightly Greener Life podcast. Please take a moment to subscribe to the show, and then be sure to share it with a friend who you know wants simple steps to living in this complex world. I'll see you next time.